Welcome to We the People, a new birth of freedom. Jericho here. Tyrants want to define life, liberty, and your pursuit of happiness. Let me repeat that. Tyrants, dictators, political bullies, political thugs, the political mafia, the political gangs want to define your life, your liberty, and your pursuit of happiness. And it even goes beyond that. They want to define and redefine, as it seems fitting to their political agenda and their propaganda, justice, truth. That's what tyrants and political thugs do, and our government is full of it. However, if you notice, the opening statement of the preamble to the Declaration of Independence says, "We hold these truths to be self-evident." We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men, including both male and female, that was the word of the time, the era, and it still is in effect today, that men includes both genders. And I've explained that in other videos. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men, male and female, are created equal. That's profound. That's divine inspiration. That's genius. And yet it's so simple because it establishes the foundation and the precedents for the laws of nature and nature's God. That all men, male and female, all humanity, all humans are created. That means your life comes by the law of nature, your liberty comes by the law of nature, and your pursuits of happiness follows the laws of nature, as designed and engineered and orchestrated by nature's God. Created. It doesn't say that these things are politically legislated, that these things are designed and limited by political processes. It doesn't say that these things came into being by the laws of politics. No. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all of humanity is created equal by the laws of nature, designed, instituted by nature's God. So therefore, anything outside of those truths, and this is what I really want to emphasize on this short video, any agenda, any propaganda, any ideology that steps outside of the bounds of those truths, those principles of truths and their characteristics, is not truth. It's a lie. And a lie is built upon misleading, misinformation, deception. So let me repeat that again. If you want to know what truth is, go back to our foundation, We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all humanity is created equal. We all came by the same process, the same dynamic, the same divine orchestration and engineering, by the law of reproduction, which is a law of nature. No human life form, no animal life form for that matter, comes into manifestation contrary to the laws of reproduction. It's according to the laws of nature, instituted, engineered, inspired by nature's God. So once again, anything that deviates, tries to circumvent those truths set in our foundation, engraved in our foundation, is not truth. And this is where, sadly, too many of the American people are misled. I would fear to start walking the streets of our cities and ask, what is the foundation that this nation was built upon? I think it would frighten me to hear answers. Why? Because it's not emphasized, it's not talked about, it's not taught in the schools, in our educational systems, in our colleges, in our universities. It's not that important to tyrants, bullies, thugs, dictators, low-life degenerates who want to strip you of your life, your liberty, and your pursuits of happiness and define it for you. Put restrictions and limitations and barriers according to their ideologies. To not understand the laws of nature is far worse, far, far worse than a pandemic. Because no matter what, my grandfather, when I was a young boy, used to make this statement, and of course as a young lad, I didn't understand it at the time. It was too profound for me, way above my pay scale. But here's a man that said he never recalled or remembered ever going to school. He had to run away from home as a child because he was living under the tyranny of a stepfather that beat him severely. So at the age of 9 years old, he had to run away from home, and he lived with the hobos in that era for a couple years, and then ended up staying at his aunt's house. He had to escape the tyranny, the bullying, the violence, the abuse of an angry stepfather. So here was a man that did not have any kind of academic certifications under his belt. He would look at me and he'd say, "Boy," he was a hillbilly, "I'm going to tell you something that you're going to learn later on in life." He said, "You're going to live till you die." And then he supplemented that later on by saying, "You'll never get out of this world alive." Well, that went completely over my head at the time, but now I get it. And no matter what, whether you die of COVID-19, influenza A, B, C, D, E, F, G, or any other kind of coronavirus or pneumonia or tuberculosis or cancer, those are just attributes and characteristics of what really kills you. You know what the real pandemic is? And it's striking every second, even as I'm speaking right now. The real pandemic is striking the earth every split second of the day. Remember, disease and illness and sickness are just characteristics and attributes of the real enemy. The real enemy is death. From the moment we're born, I know it's a harsh reality. It's not something you want to think about. But from the moment we're born, the moment we came out of our mother's womb, we began this journey to die. And you know, I would like to ask the most powerful people in the world who think they wield the most power and have the greatest financial achievements. I would like to humble them by saying, if you're so great, if you're so knowledgeable, if you're so powerful, if you're so proud, do something for me. Control time. Slow it down, speed it up, abort it. Control time, because time is the death sentence. At some time in our journey on this earth, we will die. And that death will be composed of different attributes and characteristics called disease and illness and sickness. Some type of fatality. It could be a car crash, could be an overdose, could be a tumor, could be a cancer, could be a murder, could be a bullet, a knife, some violent attack. But time is the death sentence. So I would ask them, control that for me. Can you slow it down? Can you speed it up? Can you just do away with time? And until someone can come up with that answer and manifestation, we're going to live till we die. So, before I close out this video, I want you to think about this. How many politicians do you hear stand up, read from the Bill of Rights, read from the Declaration of Independence, read from the Constitution, and emphasize we, as a government entity, are here to protect your rights according to the laws of nature, instituted by nature's God? How many times? No, they constantly want to keep chipping away at it, redefining it. Until next time, God bless. And whatever you do, be a true American patriot.